I thank the colleagues for sharing so powerful stories and experiences. And actually, I'd like to start by a quote of one of the most prominent and inspiring champion for migrant rights, that for me is Pope Francis. He said that everyone is precious, people are more important than things, and the value of each institution is measured by the way it treats the life and dignity of the human being, especially in conditions of vulnerability, as in the case of migrant children. And the reason why these words are so powerful to me is that they put the migration issue under the lenses of dignity and respect, and not only efficiency and protection of borders and nationality, which appears to be the discussion nowadays. So for me, this should be the very first initial step and very big change in terms of migration policy that Europe should embrace in these very days. If we think about numbers, there are 281 million international migrants in the world, and this data has increased rapidly in the last 10 years all over the world. So what does this number mean? That migration has always existed and it will always exist. So migration is part of the human history and is part of the development of human history in terms of human beings and creating society. And children are not a small part of that. They are half of the refugees and asylum seekers all over the world. When we ask ourselves why these people are leaving their countries, there are many different reasons, from fleeing because of conflict, climate change, poverty, violations of human rights. But what we see as Save the Children working in Italy, we work all over the borders, north and south. We have centers throughout Italy that are really protecting and integrating these children. The thing that never change, because you can see countries of origin changing, reason for migrating, but what it does never change is the need and the hope for protection. So despite these people are arriving with a very strong background in terms of suffering, because they have gone through journeys that, it has already been said, you cannot even imagine, they come with the desire and hope that they will be welcome and protected in Europe. But unfortunately, discrimination do not stop at European borders. So we see violations and a lot of negative consequences waiting for these children and people when they cross the European borders. So the topic was, which are the main challenges? The very first one, in my view, is the right to survive. People, are crossing Mediterraneans. We have just listened Hamad telling about the shipwreck in Greece. And Europe and the member states have the obligation to create a coordinated search and rescue approach in the Mediterranean, which will put all the vessels, private and non-private, together to rescue people and bring them to the prompt disembarkation in a safe port. The second challenge that these people face, especially children, is that there are unreliable legal procedures and there is a malfunctioning reception systems. So Europe, we should be really the land of rights and should protect human beings, does not do it. And it is unacceptable that because of national interest, Sister Patricia was referring to protected borders. Protection of children's rights and fundamental rights is not recognized at European level. There are many different things, but just to quote one, regular and safe channels of access, such as family reunification, humanitarian corridors, quotas for work, study permits, should be the way, because as you mentioned at the very beginning, you cannot come legally. This is what we have to remember. You cannot come legally. And that's what should be, this is really the challenge we should overcome. And then a third challenge, which is not less dangerous, is the lack of cohesion and the diffusion in many areas, including in our country, of a culture of separation and hostility to differences. So when we speak about coexistence and cohesion, this is not the future, this is the present. These people are already here. And we believe that we should avoid a communication which is centered on emergencies and promote the voice and should instead promote the voice of those who are directly concerned, because we have to value the presence of these people, and inclusion and integration should be really a priority. So what we could do together, and I'm really grateful that we have this dialogue in this roundtable. I think that first of all, we should advocate together to the EU, because we are living a momentum, the momentum in which we will influence the Pact on Asylum and Migration. But the way the new rules will be written depends in the next months. And according to how they will be written, they will influence the right of people to obtain protection, to be treated with dignity, to be reunited with their families. So what it is needed today to the European Parliament and Council is courage and capacity of overcoming political polarization. And this is what we should advocate together too. And lastly, I mean, we are in front of a global human mobility, and we need to work together to reversal the perspective. People with a migrant background, especially children with families, they are a capital that can be invested and can be integrated and that can produce a better society and a better quality in society. So it is time for new alliances, and I just want to close by reading this motto that I like very much: we are what we give. So today the idea is really to make alliances between civil religious institutions, with civil society, with governance, but alliances are made by people. So we have to make alliances of goodwill people, and today it could be a first step. Thank you.